All right, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are. You're probably watching, well, you are watching this on YouTube. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. All right, so whatever is it? It's Sunday, September 3rd, and I'm here with my mighty companion, Marci, and this is our Sunday morning Zoom call for our ministry, psychiatricsobriety.com, and this is the 5-minute introduction to that ministry because we record these on YouTube. What is psychiatric sobriety? Who are we? Why do we come here? What do we do? What do we not do? I don't know. You know what needs to be done. So ministry, folks. Basically, in a nutshell. All right. So here's what it is. Marci's been messaging me all week, and she said, Kenneth, this is an idea that's way ahead of its time. Well, what is the idea here? The idea, which is a really delicate idea, but the idea is that maybe we might not be mentally ill after all. Maybe we just might have bought into a disempowering. I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm just going to ask the question: what if we weren't mentally ill? Let's explore that, because I spent 25 years in the mental health system where I believe you know what? I didn't believe it. In the back of my mind, I said, this can't be true. But you know what? I was focused on material achievement. I was focused on worldly success. And I said, well, as soon as I get material achievement, as soon as I get worldly success, then I'll address my mental illness. And guess what? I had it all backwards. By the time I started learning my lessons, I had spent 25 years on mountains and mountains of pharmaceuticals. Anyway, live and learn. I get to host this wonderful ministry because of that. And you know what made me mentally ill is not putting God first. That's how I got mentally ill. Now, I come from a Pentecostal Christian background, so God had a lot of fearful connotations to it. So we do a lot of work here on Sundays. We unwind ourselves out of these narratives that were necessary for tribal mentality at one time. But I don't think Jesus was, about formulating a religion. I cannot have said it. All right, so I'm not talking about the biblical Jesus either. I'm talking about a representation of Christ consciousness. So if Jesus works for you, great. If other figures work for you, great. We're here to anchor Christ consciousness. Jesus doesn't care if we use his name. He only cares as if there's such things. Anyway. You get my point. I'm blabbering. All right, so I throw in disclaimers at the beginning of every Zoom call. Listen, folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're not telling you to exit psychiatry, and we're not telling you to get off your meds. That would just be cruel, reckless, dangerous, and the last thing we want to do is harm anyone here. That's the opposite. We're here to emerge people. I don't think we're here to help, but we're here to emerge people. I got off my meds. I exited psychiatry. They told me, you're going to be on these pills for the rest of your life, so just learn to deal with it. No. Okay? It took a lot of hard work, but out of all that hard work came a trail of breadcrumbs out of that dark forest, and that's why I want to host these every week. I want to share that trail of breadcrumbs with others so you guys can get a lot quicker than me. learn from my mistakes. Since Marci is learning, they weren't mistakes. All right, so there was a 4-minute introduction. All right, I used the word ministry because it was grace that pulled me out of that madness. It was grace that pulled me out of that dark forest. Yeah, a lot of hard work, but Jesus didn't come in and just wave a magic wand. He gave me work to do. And I'm fine, yeah, I'll do it. Come to the master all day. Here's one of the things he gave me was the healer's prayer. Because I'm a Course in Miracles student, the healer's prayer goes like this: we are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing that he or she goes there with us. And we will be healed as we let him or her teach us how to heal. I mean, that may come from the Course in Miracles, but he said it 2,000 years ago, and two or more together. So anyway, how you doing, Marci? I'm in bed with spasms still, so the background's not an upright background like it usually is. How are you? I love all the messages to thank you, Marci. Actually, you know what? you've been keeping this ministry afloat. Because you can tell, I said last week, I'm going, that's fine. I've been doing this for 2 years. If it ever goes, if I'm not supposed to continue this, that's fine. But for this Sunday, we're supposed to continue because you and I are supposed to be together.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And, you were talking about in the beginning, how certain things reached out to you when you were in your darkness. And I been listening to Reverend Dale Blackford this week. Wow. That guy.
If you could hear him, you're in a good place because he's way up there.
My God. Okay. So what comes out of his mouth is exactly what I'm thinking. But I absolutely do not feel that I could have those words come out of my mouth without sounding like a complete lunatic, without it making any sense at all to anybody. It'd be a bunch of garbly blah. And I'm listening to this guy going, okay, so this is really cool, right? I wrote this down. This is something he said, right? He goes, okay, if you don't know what's happening, it's really hard to let whatever's happening disturb you. Okay. So he goes, when you're doing that, you're making yourself more available for what could happen. So, you know what I mean? Like when you let go, anyways, that guy is amazing.
You can see why I wanted to get him on why I wanted to get him on video, because they don't have enough videos of him on YouTube. I mean,
yes.
No, they don't. Actually, that's not true. He's going to start lecturing this morning. Let's see. I think you're on the East Coast like I am.
Yeah.
At 2:00, he's going to lecture at Unity of Namaste, and they have a Zoom link. I'll send you the link. And I can't wait because he's the Unity minister for the month of September. So rock on, Unity of Namaste.
He is amazing. I sent a link of one of his sermons to a friend of mine, and I'm like going, oh my God, what the hell is happening to me? I'm sending Christian church service links to my friend. Like, what is going on in the dream? And I'm like, I'm kind of doing what he's talking about. I'm letting go of what I don't do and what I do, and I'm just doing what I'm led to do without judging it. It's really cool.
I don't know if you know the story, but he was the first one, because when I was coming off of my benzo, probably I'm 56, so that had to have been 13 years ago. The internet was just didn't have these advanced 5G technology capacity.
Yeah.
And I was searching. And I had a friend, Carol, who she saw I was in bad shape, and she was searching for me. She said, we got to get this guy Kenneth some help. And so she's listening to Unity Radio at work, and this guest speaker, Dale Blackford, comes on. And for some reason, Carol was very intuitive. She was supposed to listen to that. And Dale Blackford says, oh, if you're in a dark night of the soul, call me. Not, oh, if you're in a dark night of the soul, get your therapist out, call 911, He said, no, if you're in a dark night of the soul, and he turned everything around, and he said, that's not the worst thing that's happening to you, but that is the best thing that's happening. I'll never forget that afternoon. Carol called me right up. Kenneth, I got a phone number for you to call. And that was the moment. That was my first breadcrumb. Was everyone else had gone into panic mode. Everyone else had gone into triage mode with this man by the name of Kenneth. Dale didn't do that because he didn't go into fear. He turned the narrative into excitement. I remember asking him the specific question. I said, Dale, I've been on a spiritual path for so long. Am I going backwards? Am I being thwarted? Is this the end?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his exact words, but I can remember the message was no.
He was your breadcrumb, and then you're my breadcrumb.
That's why I call it, psychiatric sobriety. This is how it works. That's how sponsorship works. Remember in the program, they say, oh, my grand sponsor, my great-great-grand. I was like, I don't understand what you guys mean by that. But what happens is they're passing the message on and down.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Still hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you just fine.
Okay. Okay, my headset just did something weird. So, okay. So I've had a really great week. I like Googled him on YouTube and I've been like listening to him and oh, I'm so glad I'm talking to you. Okay. You're going to laugh at me, okay? Because I have never listened to your big mentor, David Hoffmeister. Is that
Yeah.
David? Okay. So I knew he did like the movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment or something like that. I'd heard of that before, but I never like actually like listened to him or, nothing. Okay. I listened to him and that guy, all I listened to was a movie review that he did for a movie that wasn't shown. So I didn't even see the movie. All I heard was him talking about a movie that I did not watch. That guy blew my mind. That guy just like cracked my skull open and I he's amazing. Thank you so much.
I love that metaphor, Marcy, because remember last week, I don't know if he cracked the skull open, but he may have put some cracks in the cocoon to let in some rays of light. There, see, I love when two or more gathered because you come up with this great metaphor that's perfect for where we're going. And this is not my metaphor. This was Reverend Dale Blackford's metaphor. Before all these videos, he had I've been looking for years on Unity Radio. It's called, when Dark Night of the Soul, when caterpillars turn into butterflies. I don't even remember the name, but he had it on Unity Radio. I listened to it over and over and over because I could finally hear it. It was the first ray of light in my cocoon, 13, 12, 13 years ago. Because what David Hoffmeister's doing, you're not hearing him with the logical, rational, conditioned brain. There's a higher mind that could hear David Hoffmeister. Does that kind of resonate? And there's a higher mind that says,
yeah,
I don't know why, but something this man is saying it fits, it clicks, it's activating an ancient memory almost. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You know how David Hoffmeister, he talks about like downloads. He'll be like, yeah, Holy Spirit gave me a download, or I'm like, what the hell is a down? I don't know what that is. What? After I listened to him, I went to bed and I'm laying there and I can't, there's no absolute way I can even try to begin to describe what happened to me. But I got a download. All I know is that was the download. That it happened. After listening to him, it's like he was the catalyst to, I don't, wow. I'm like, I'm really, I'm having so much fun exploring all this.
I spent 7 months at his Peace House in Cincinnati, doing that remodel job. And I was talking with my friend Kai. You know what? I was under the belief that all that energy came from my testosterone implants. I said, oh my God, look at these testosterone implants. They're giving me the energy of a 25-year-old. Oh my God, you know what? So I went back, last month and had more. Zero. No, it wasn't the testosterone implants. When we're in the energy field of what you're beginning to experience, I'm going way out on a limb here. I'm just,
Good, I want you to.
I got to share this because it's my direct experience. Remodeling the home for his. It's not for him, for his foundation. But anyway, I have the sense that there was some energetic transmissions that were making it possible because it had to get done. That property had to get repaired. And it came through this body. I won't take credit for it because it came through this body. Yeah. I just had, I had the skills and tools. But this is kind of a new way of living. This is outside of the capitalistic model completely. And then I got to share this too. And you know, I was tons of grievances with his ministry. You know, you can't remodel a whole home and not have all these heads button like that. Anyway, stuff like that took place. You know, it always happens with, you know, in his community. And part of it was, well, God, I'm way out here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I got to leave. Where am I going to go? What am I going to? And I just kept remembering, just trust. And that was back in June, Marcy. And doors, I'm still on the East Coast. I'm in Pittsburgh. Doors kept opening up. I can't explain these doors, but I know it's not because I didn't put out resumes for that. That's for sure. And each one of these doors was opening up a new experience that was helpful, a new opportunity that needed to be forgiven, or a new concept that needed to be forgiven. I'm afraid to tell you where I am right now because it's actually too good to be true. I'm afraid to tell. I'm afraid to announce it on YouTube. It's so good to be. I might have a boyfriend. I know. Listen, I didn't think that was going to come out. I got to be careful with what I say, but I really thought going into monasticism, I said, okay, that's it. I give it. I surrender. It didn't work. It's never going to work. It's over in my story. I'll become a monk, you know, shave my head off. I can't explain how this is happening.
You're being led.
Thank you. You know, and this is coming from 25 years off those pills. You know, I get to have this testimony.
Your life is demonstrating that, I mean, first of all, your message here is incredible. Second of all, it's not just this message, it is the way you're living your life, that you are doing a free fall into trust, into the unknown. I mean, your finances, your living situation. I mean, you have literally just given it all. I mean, it's very humbling. And so you're free falling and you are showing us that look what happens. I mean, there's love. There's love there.
That's it. You know, this has been the message. I'm in bed with a back injury. I've been in bed almost 2 weeks, you know, and again, it's not a back injury. It's a message to slow down. See, another message. I'm not like positively affirming my way. I'm sincerely saying, let the universe hold you now, Kenneth.
Yes, you know, Kenneth, I identifying with the body is really seductive, you know, and so I try not to kind of dwell there, but just in the last couple of weeks, I have gotten some clarity on something that's been going on with me for many, 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 many years. Okay. So basically let's just say it's like a malabsorption kind of problem. Okay. So the body is not well. So the clarity that I got is that, like, basically kind of the way what my body's expressing is, you know, I could eat 1,000 pounds of food and I still would be tired and undernourished because my body's not taking it in, right? Okay. So what my spirit said was like, you know, you're starving, you're malnourished, not for food, not for a sandwich, not for a bag of chips. You're starving for what's going to feed your spirit. And that's why I've gone to, you know, basically, like, I look at it like the well of David Hoffmeister and Dale Blackford, and I'm going and I'm feeding myself. You know what I mean? And in form, you know, I'm still taking my supplements and doing all the little magic things that we do to, you know, I mean, you know, you go to the doctor, you know, you do all that kind of stuff. But you know what? That's not where my healing is. So what I'm working on right now is feeding myself, literally.
Gosh, that's if I could learn how to phrase that, you know, succinctly, that could be the title of this Zoom call. Because Marcy, that's it. You know, I mean, I as if I'm reinventing some sort of wheel here, which I'm not. I'm not just building our house on rock. thing we do every single Sunday, but it comes out in a different experience. The message is delivered a little bit differently, because this is the Course in Miracles just basically says one thing. It just says atone and surrender and allow, but Jesus has to repeat it thousands of times in different forms, because the ego has,
well, what about this? And what about that? And wait, what about what if this happens? And yeah.
I did this video, like 2 years ago. I called it Asteroids, because I remember, I don't know if you're old enough. Remember that video game Asteroids? Just put a quarter in, and
yeah,
the little triangle, you point it around, you go ding 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 ding, and you have to hit the asteroid several times for it before you finally, fragment it.
Before it, you have to like nail it. Yeah.
That's what Jesus has to do with the tumor of the ego. He has to go around like that, and he loves playing that game. I'm sure, because he's been doing it for 2,000 years.
Do you love? I have to bring this up. Do you just love that our beautiful friend Catherine found a place to live one day before her deadline?
Yeah, and what I love about Catherine also is that she's coming on and she's documenting. She's got the courage to document, because she's in the same boat I was many years ago when I didn't have the technology to document. She's documenting it for me, because there are ups and downs, and there's cloud cover and then the sun returns. And as I don't know how much longer this specific the ministry is going to take this specific form, but we'll keep her on videos to again document one more what it looks like for someone else. Maybe women will be able to relate to her story better than mine.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, we don't know where our story's going to land. I mean, you've talked about seeds that have to germinate for a certain period of time before they start popping up, and
I don't. It's just that these stories, when they come to me, they land in a deep place. The other stories of my life, always had yeah buts attached. It was a confusing parade of contingencies on all the other stories, but these don't have contingencies. And then
meaning
the ministry. Yeah, ministerial stories like germinating seeds. They don't have contingencies, and they got backups, from all these different teachers that are, much.
Yes. You talked about Byron Katie saying that. I think we talked about that. Oh, that's another thing that Dale Blackford said. He said, don't change your story. Just let your story go. Right? I mean, yeah. So the health issue, I was kind of like, I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I'm going to solve this. I'm going to put on my tool belt and I'm going to solve this, right? Oh God, I've done every vitamin, every blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he's just like, he goes, just let it go. And I'm like, you know what? I can ask my body, okay, what's my body telling me, right? And then listen. But it's really, when I say, what's my body telling me? The message that my body gave me was for my spirit. It wasn't for my body. It's for my spirit. And when my spirit thrives, my body thrives. So I see so I'm getting it. And I really liked it when, he was talking about, he's like, we find these things wrong with our story and we want to fix it. And fixing is the ego. And, it's very, if you really do think about who you would be without your story, Byron Katie wrote a book, Who Would You Be Without Your Story? Who would you be? If you really think about that and really sit with that, oh my God, there you go.
I kind of think of this way. I keep getting the visual of a Trojan horse. The story of the Trojan horse, where they fooled the city by, bringing a Trojan horse through the gates, and all of a sudden all the soldiers popped out. Well, the thing about this analogy is that those gates are foolproof. Those gates cannot be, they cannot at all, be fooled by the ego. But those gates aren't God proof.
They're not.
God proof. So,
Yes.
so this is how I see my friend and teacher Dale Blackford. He's like a Trojan horse, and he carries like a secret weapon that no one can hear, taste, touch, smell, or hear. And for some odd reason, those gates of the citadel open. He rolls in the Trojan horse, and he doesn't let out soldiers, but he lets out all these nuggets of truth. And they don't go to battle with these narratives. They diffuse them. It's a very peaceful approach. By diffusing, it's an David calls it unbelieving. Unbelieving is the atonement. So we're all same message, another messenger, Byron Katie. This is what I like about Dale Blackford. When I met him, he was talking about his dark night of the soul. This whole ministry is based on a template I learned from him years ago. Is he documented his dark night of the soul, and he said, "I'm going to document it here on Unity Radio." Probably a lot of people, Unity ministers are supposed to be Unity ministers supposed to be light and love, and he said, "No." I said, I'm going to document some real deep material here because,
Yes.
And I you know what? It's never left me, Marci, and that's how this all began, 2 years ago.
Yes, I can see his energy in you. What were you saying about the 12 steps? What they said about the sponsor of my sponsor or whatever?
It's sponsor. My sponsor, my grand sponsor,
Grand sponsor.
Listen, and this is let me tell you something else about Dale. You'd think you've heard him speak. You'd think he would be, you think he'd be a YouTube celebrity. You'd think, but
yes.
I wanted to go see him a couple of years ago. I'd never actually seen him. I flew down to San Diego. I was in San Diego. I wanted to see him, and he lived in a humble little 2-bedroom apartment. He made me a beautiful dinner, him and his girlfriend, and we went to an Al-Anon meeting together. Now that's humility. We went to an Al-Anon meeting together. You'd think it'd be on a speaker circuit. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We sat there, on a beach chair, but after the meeting was over, he started making the rounds and connecting with the men to drop nuggets. He just drops nuggets wherever he goes. I get to live like that now. And he doesn't have he doesn't have, the fancy homes, fancy ministries. He's disguised himself as a normal human being.
Yes.
So he can walk amongst the masses.
Yes.
And drop these love bombs. How's that sound?
It's pretty incredible. And yes. Wow.
It comes. This is what the leveling did in my story. I mean, the level, I had a huge ego. I mean, there's some people in this world, if you go back 20, 30 years, you want to look at my story, that's which we're not going to do here. Yeah. But the leveling process has opened that door for me. I get to do stuff like that now.
Yes.
Actually, I have to in order to stay.
Yes.
Psychiatric and sober.
Yes.
Just for today.
Well, I think there's something really special about who comes to us as teachers. You know what I mean? For me personally, it's like, like Dale Blackford connected with you when you needed that, and he was there for you. So it's like in your story, this character, you know what I mean? But it's really you coming to yourself. I mean, you.
No. They get complicated real fast, don't they?
Right. But the thing of it is our teachers are so special to us. So you're that to me. So you're the Dale Blackford to me. So I'm in my dark night of the soul, and this ministry, it is definitely ahead of its time.
And and Marcy, that's keeping me going because I'm having a rough time over here. I've got a back. I mean, it's getting better, but I got a back spasm, and I got all these jobs lined up, and I can't take any of them. I'm having a rough time
Yes.
here. Your words are
That's a
so
hopeless
helpful.
feeling.
What?
Oh, I'm so glad. That's a helpless feeling,
I know,
you
and
know?
it's like, it's like I got all this work, and spirit saying no, no, no.
We don't know why these messages are coming, but I think a long time ago I heard that, you're not a human being, you're not a human doing, you're a human being. That's something that I struggle with is having downtime, feeling like I'm not doing. Oh, I got like this big message this week, and I'm new with sort of connecting to spirit and feeling like I'm getting guidance. I know I am all the time, but I felt like I got guidance this week, and it was really cool, and I was all excited. And I thought, out of all the things that spirit could say to me, or the message that could, it was rest in God. Rest in God. Okay. First of all, I don't like resting. I don't want to sit still. I don't want to feel like I'm not doing anything and I'm not being productive and I'm not, whatever. So that was a good message for me. Um, and I kind of went into the message and I realized resting in God is actually pretty active. Your body's not active, but what you really are is active. I mean, you know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of a cool message. And maybe that's your message.
Actually,
I don't
maybe that's the
know.
title of the Zoom call because that's a lot easier to put on the JPEG than the other.
Rest in God.
Well, you had the one we did last week. We did Catherine's, the couch surfing. So I couldn't resist. You know what?
Yes.
It was just that I couldn't resist that JPEG.
Yes.
but you had the topic for the one before that. It was when you're on your knees or something like that.
Yes. Oh God, your ears pop open.
And I got that from Dale too, because Dale, people always ask him at Unity Church, what's the title of your lecture? I
Yeah.
don't know. Whatever comes out of my mouth. And so this is what makes me laugh. And so finally they said, okay, Dale, we'll come up with the title after you're done lecturing. He says, good, which is
That's what you do. I think that I love it. Why do we have to do things in a certain order? I mean,
if you read the Course in
yeah.
Miracles long enough, you'll lose order. It's like,
Hey, how did the course, how did you kind of discover it? I mean, how did it
how
come
did
to
I?
you? Yeah.
Thank you for asking that question because I've been I tried everything to make this world work. Everything. I mean, I did backflips to make the world work.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I was in my 30s, and this wonderful therapist, she said, "Have you heard of the?" she had to get down to my level because I was scraping bottom. She said, "Have you heard about the Course in Miracles?" So this must have been 20 years ago. I said, "What's that?" Next thing you know, I bought that blue book, and I can't explain what happened, 20 years ago. But I went into a coffee house one summer and read it from cover to cover. I, for some reason, it was I don't. I said, "There's something here, something inside of me knows there's something here, but I can't explain it. But I can't put it down either." Now I
Mm-hmm.
went on, but I had this foundation. I went on, and that was even before the Klonopin. So clearly, I had, but at least, I was getting introduced. So all through that Klonopin and off the Klonopin, I said, "Okay." But I kept saying, I've got to put this more priority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes.
it's the same. Everyone's got that same story. They say, "Oh, that book sat on my nightstand for years."
Yeah. Well, I got my copy when I was 14 years old, and I picked it up when I was 51, 50, whatever. Anyways, it sat on my nightstand for a long time. It's
But what it's basically asking us is the same thing. We have to be done. We
Yes.
really have, it's just that we've had in our stories, by the time we've tried everything and realized that nothing here works,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's when
Yeah.
the cocoon begins to crack.
That's
Oh,
when your ears pop open. You're on your knees, yes. And I think that the reason I hear a common theme, a lot of people pick it up. A lot of people pick up a lot of spiritual paths. It doesn't have to just be the Course in Miracles. So I could be talking about anything. Pick it up, you know, and then put it back down again. And I think if it is the right spiritual path, if it matches your vibration, if it is what's going to walk you home, because we all have that. I really do. It's not the same for everybody, but when you do find that, I think you pick up your spiritual path and you might put it back down again, but you're putting it down because you've realized I have to let go of everything. I have to let go of everything if I'm going to, if you're really going to be walked home by whatever path it is that you're choosing, you know, it, our friend, Dale Blackford, he talks about, he's like, is anybody thinking about the end game where there is no you and there's no me and there's nothing. We're one. Are we ready for that? Are we ready to all be one? No private thoughts, no private mind, no, it's pretty.
well, yeah. All I can say is yes. This is the only thing in my life that has ever, I all that time I was trying to fix myself. You
Hmm.
know, now I'm beginning to slow down, settle
Hmm.
down, and calm down. Now I'm noticing something's working.
Hmm.
Ah, and I hear Marsha's voice. Marsha's my spirit guide. I keep hearing her say, bingo. As a matter of fact, if I could reach over to the other end of the nightstand, which I can't right now, I went out, Mark texted me last night and said, I'm going to be late for work. I'll go grab a sandwich. So I went down to the corner deli, another hairband. I can't explain where they're coming from. I have no logic. This is the one thing that I can share in form is I can't explain, but they're coming. I don't know. Have you found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
No,
them over?
and
No.
since I've met you and heard your story, I have been looking for them because they said if you look for it, you will find. You know what I mean? Like you'll create it or whatever. No,
No.
yeah, I see some occasionally, but nothing like you.
This, it, and I so I mean again. I mean, I go listen. I'm in the middle of it with everyone else. I'm not some butterfly. I'm a butterfly. I am a caterpillar, and I'm in the cocoon. I'm all three at the same time. But
Yes.
we all know that it's a one way ticket. We have to just keep butterfly or bust. I think butterfly or bust was the name of one of these Zoom calls.
Yes, that's
So
good.
we've I can't pretend that I still don't have responsibilities of the caterpillar world, because I want to start
Yes.
some ranch around here and getting some of these jobs finished. But at the same
Right.
time, I've got to put this priority. So uh, you know Dale, and allow it. And every time I get another one of these hair bands, it's a sign from the universe. What I'm hearing from it is you're on the right track. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
Because this ministry is not for people who want to feel better. This ministry is for people who were on, lost the mental health system or probably suicidal. Because
Yeah.
I can't make anybody feel better, but I can tell you I was lost in the mental health system. I was
Mm-hmm.
suicidal, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what came out of it, not in spite of it, but because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I honestly
Yes.
I scripted all those pills and all of that misery so that I could. That's what it took to crack open my cocoon. Otherwise, I'd be a spiritual cat.
Yes. That's why we thank our challenges. I mean, you're not thanking it. You're not thanking your back right now, are you? Or are you?
No, no. See, this is when two or more are gathered. When you and I are joined, I mean, in this sacred, dialogue. I'm not feeling any pain right now.
That is
Magic.
so wonderful.
I
Yeah.
know.
So cool.
It's
I love it. I love it.
It's just it's just the prodigal son. I
Yes.
geez, I mean, I think I listen. I mean, there's just been countless people have tried to decipher that parable. What I get from it is that he had to leave, and it didn't have anything to do with money. But Jesus had to speak to the people in concrete form that they could, at their level. He had to leave home. He had to put it all to the test. He had to test everything. Is this going to be true for me?
Yep.
Is this, you know, and finally, all right, the data is in. My father was right, but I don't believe it anymore. I know it now. Now that I know it, time to go back.
Now that I've had that experience in form.
You had to. We could write a story, the prodigal son, the mental health system, psych meds and benzodiazepines. Had to. We had.
Yeah. Wow. There's a concept. Jeez.
And as mine, continues, as I begin to see more and more butterfly wings, I'll be able. I want to anchor that message for so many others who have these disempowering allopathic narratives. I have a hard time with, I don't. I had to. I'm an all or nothing type guy in my caterpillar archetype. I have to just get it all out of my system, and
Yes.
that's the message that came out of it.
Yes. The feeling that I got was I was thinking about some of my hardships and form in the dream, and I was like, God, it's been so many years and so much pain, and it's almost like God was like, you done? You done being miserable and feeling sorry for yourself and going to the very, very, very bottom of the sludge of the, you done? You done? You ready? You ready to let go of that? You ready to let go of that shit? You ready?
These are the messages that, a lot of times when I hear spiritual concepts floating around, I kind of start to yawn. But when I hear something like you just shared, all of a sudden I'm at full attention, because
I'm ready.
this is the real. Yeah, we have to.
And there's the point that there's the point. There's that's where we're meeting here, is at that point. You ready to let go of it? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to let go.
And the lesson that's coming from mine, because there's just nuggets that just pour in, big downloads, nuggets, whatever, is that, what? I love caterpillars more than ever right now. I love caterpillars because
Aren't they cool?
They are so amazing. And I don't want them to change at all. I want to go into their world and celebrate with them. They have so many gifts to offer. See, this is where I had to say, you shouldn't be a caterpillar. Do you know you're a caterpillar? You should be going into a cocoon right now. You're not really a caterpillar. Do you know what you should be prepared? No.
You know what? When you're the caterpillar in the cocoon, right? It's really hard to be self-aware. So in this group, because you just said, you go from being a caterpillar to a cocoon and you move fluidly back and forth between those, right? Well, in this group, we can mirror for each other. Like, you're in the cocoon. I can see you in the cocoon. That's what it looks like, right?
Has to be that way. And this is what's magic is we find, it says somewhere on the course, I don't know how I put it in my own language. We are joined and connected, synchronistically, that I can't explain. And it's this if I were a Course in Miracles scholar, I could quote it from the Course in Miracles. I could quote it from 12 steps. Surely you will meet of us as you trudge the road to happiness. All these ways shows.
I've never heard that quote before. So
what was that? it's in the promises. My favorite part, whenever I would go to a 12-step meeting, they say, do you want to read something? I would say, yeah, the promises, give it to me. The only one I was interested in, because the promises, see if I could, I should put them down in the description line, but what it
Yes.
said is, you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road to happy destiny.
Wow.
He knew Bill W. was onto this in the 1930s. The formula
I
itself.
never knew that AA had so much good stuff.
It's compartmentalized into a very simple outline, but Bill W. said, folks, this is just spiritual kindergarten. He knew that he knew basically you got to get connected, and you got to surrender, and you got to allow, you got to admit, surrender and allow, and then you got to and then notice. I mean, you could the 12 steps. Go ahead.
Bill, Thetford is the creator of the
Oh
12
no.
steps? Or,
No,
sorry, I don't know anything about.
The 12 steps came out in the 1930s. Bill Wilson.
Oh, Bill. Okay, sorry, I don't know if it's.
But the 12 steps. The Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles picks up where the 12 steps leave off.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
And I spent so many years in the 12 steps that I had to put that into this ministry. Right, those are the two paths that found me.
So Bill Wilson, it sounds to me like he was led by Spirit to create the 12 steps. Wow.
And there's a little more to the story, but I love digging into his past. He did have a white light episode. He did. Yeah. So interesting man. He never, and this is why I don't. He never fully. He always lived with a failed caterpillar. He never quit smoking, and a lot of his addictions he couldn't surmount, like a sex addiction. But he knew the formula. He knew how to get out of the way, which is what how I feel is I don't know if any of my addictions are ever if any of my quirks are ever going to go away, and my dream character is ever going to be fully repaired. But I don't care anymore because I'm learning how to get out of the way, and I'm learning what comes through me. And so I'm not concerned about putting the body back together into some well-assembled.
Yes.
If it needs to be, I'm sure Spirit would assemble me in a way that would be, more articulate. But for right now, this is fine because I can feel the love coming from beyond the veil.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, I think I'm still working on reading your book too, by the way. Yes. It's wow. Yeah. You've put so much so many breadcrumbs out there for other people to find, and really it is something that you kind of watch evolve. I mean, it's like we don't have control over, these groups or, who's drawn to them or who. So it's kind of fun to just sit back and watch it.
Yeah, you're right. I never know what's going to happen. And it's the first time my life has actually begun to operate with fluid. I'll say happiness. I'll say many of these different attributes which I felt were chemically void, which needed pharmaceuticals. No, this stuff is coming on. It's all coming back online. The chemicals are coming back online as I say, all right, Jesus, you weren't a part of the ministry when Tina was here. Tina passed away, but Tina was a huge part of this ministry. And Tina and Jody and I got in this big belly laugh once when I said, Jody said, you've got to get in the driver's seat. And I said, you've got to get in the passenger seat. And Tina chimed in and she said, just get in the fucking car.
Yeah, just get in the car.
All three of us burst out laughing.
I love it. Just get, sometimes the most profound advice is the most simple. Just get in the car. I mean, really?
And I'm glad you brought that up because more Dale Blackford wisdom. Dale Blackford, but part of the reason I was so frightened by the time I met him is that I complicated it thinking all these things I needed to do to fix myself. And I said, I'm
Yes.
exhausted. I can't
Yeah.
do all this to fix
God,
myself.
yeah.
And he cut right to the chase once.
Yep.
And he said, that's because all you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
He said to me, he said, and I could hear it from him. Said, that's all you got to do.
You were talking about that last week. You said, or the week before, I don't know. Anyways, but you were like, just get in the car and drive to Home Depot. I mean, just in other words, just do it. Just show up. Suit up. Don't you have a YouTube called Suit Up and Show Up or something? Yeah.
Got it from him. Now, listen,
Pardon me?
what's interesting, Marci, is they've been telling me that on 12 steps for decades. I mean, it was right there on the wall for decades.
I know, right?
But it's in one single moment in my 50s, no, it was in my 40s, I heard it.
Yep.
That's why we need to rethink this. The script has already been written. I could not have heard it. I tried to make myself hear it before then. Nope.
Yes.
No, I wasn't supposed to hear it until my 40s. People say I shouldn't. This is like people say I shouldn't be drinking. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Are you drinking? Yes. Well, then you should be drinking in this moment now.
Right.
No. We're rethinking this shame-based, control model, which is now that we're done with it, we can replace it with a much more kind, gentle, loving, allowing model. That
doesn't it feel better too to look at yourself with compassion and love and just go, God.
The Trojan horse wasn't a battering ram. It wasn't battering the doors of the citadel. Yes. It tricked them into the front doors.
Yes.
We've been trying to batter that down, and the ego loves it. Yeah, the ego says, "Oh, this is fun. Whoopee! We're your battering ram. I love battering rams. We'll play this game with you." So we gotta.
Doesn't Dale Blackford? He tells a story where I'm going to get the details wrong, but the gist of it is like one person in the church is helping the other person. She locked her keys or whatever, so she's traumatized. She can't get in her wherever she is in her vehicle. Her purse is in there, everything's in there. She's freaking out, right? And this lady's getting guidance just to be with her, just be with her, And she's like, well, thinking in her head, well, what's gonna happen? I'm, ego, and she finally accepted it. She's like, I'm just gonna hold space for her. And she did. And they leaned up against something and the door opened. And they're like, I mean, and he said something like, how many times in our lives are we like just flipping out? And, you just go, God, I'm tired. And you lean up against the door to rest and woo, the door's open.
I don't know. When we start to laugh, I think part of I've never been able to let go of my story, but I have been able to turn it. First, Spirit said, "You can't let it go yet. First, you got to turn it into a comedy. You got to go from a tragedy to a comedy, and you're going to laugh your way out of this." And the chuckles. The chuckle is that spaceship, in the asteroid game that starts shooting all the missiles onto the story itself. Boom, boom, boom. They're missiles of laughter.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think that I mean, in the course it says that this whole mess started because, a tiny mad idea crept into your mind and you forgot to laugh at it. You forgot to just go, that's just ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. I mean, oh my God.
And I love that, we're going to wrap it up on this story. We're got about a few more minutes, but I love that you brought that up because the Bible says something serious happened. The Bible takes it very serious. Everything was fine, but no, Eve, don't eat that apple. Eve, don't Eve, no, Eve, take turned into a big drama, which is fear-based, which,
Mm-hmm.
no, Jesus said, tiny mad idea. You really
Yes.
believe, well, so I love the contrast of the fall and the Big Bang, and how Jesus came back and said, no, you guys really have the story, way off skew. It's like,
Isn't that the, oh, sorry. I was going to say, isn't that the subtle shift between, the little shift between being serious about the exact same subject matter to cracking a smile and laughing? It's the same thing that happened. It's just that little shift in the way you look at it. What
well,
I'm seeing for me with mental illness is that little shift. I'm taking that shift and I'm looking at my mental illness with it. And I'm going, well, wait a minute.
perfect. I'm glad we got that documented, because when my spirit guide first began to return, it was I was sitting there in that truck, and I heard the chuckle,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, it's Marcia, by the way. I said, I
Mm-hmm.
remember that chuckle, and I said, is it? And she said, yes, of course it's me. And she's chuckling, she's getting the gag out of it. She said, all right, now will you let me drive? Okay, nothing's gone wrong, buddy. She said, my buddy's, you're in your 40s. She said, you're still a young kid. But
Yeah.
the chuckle was the first audible, it was truly audible. Whether or not I
Yeah.
actually heard it with my ears, but the memory
Right.
was
Right.
was
Yes.
so clear that it might as well have been audible.
Yeah.
And it
Absolutely.
was laughter.
And it was your guidance coming in as laughter.
My guidance that summer, I don't know how many times I've told that story. My guidance was, she said, I drive, you cry. I drive, you cry. She said,
And
you
you
got to
said
remember.
that whole summer, all your deliveries, that's what you did.
I don't remember. I don't know how any of those. Dude, I didn't have a GPS. I don't remember how all those deliveries got made. Everyone got made on time. Everyone got made, and all I know is before I got back to the rock and gravel yard, I had to grab the Kleenex, wipe up the tears, jump out of the
Mm-hmm.
truck, and get the next assignment. No one had a single clue that I spent that whole summer in tears.
And that's work. That's, we see this smiling man in front of us right now, and there's a lot of gravel deliveries behind, a lot of tears, and yeah.
Oh, Marsha said, highly individualized curriculum. She said this. She said, you got to shed your mantras. And by the way, I was still on some. I wasn't done with the meds yet. There was still
Yeah.
a few meds in my system. I want that
Yeah.
documented too. We're not saying you have to be off your meds then do this. Nope. It's
Yes.
holographic. You
Yes.
caterpillar, cocoon, and butterfly all at the same time.
Yes.
And as those man tears got shed, then I heard the voice. All right, you can surrender a few more. She said, you're done with the pills now. It's a year before surrendering the last pill.
Yes. You listened.
I had nowhere else left to go.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
When there's nothing left but God, God isn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why there's not, 1,000 people here today, because you got to wait till there's nothing left but God. And then,
All right, Marcy, it's been a joy and honor and a privilege. Here we are, 12:59 on Sunday, September 3rd. I've been here, with my mighty companion, Marcy. Look at her smile. Look at my smile. Remember, this is psychiatric sobriety. You're talking about two people who were in the mental health system, diagnosed with mental illness. We believe that. We said enough is enough. Listen to this dialogue on YouTube. Listen to what we're sharing together. What's coming through us, not coming out of us, what's coming through us. And so please leave your comments below, and visit the website. I've got it all in the description line. Especially in addition to visiting the website, join us on a Sunday morning. I just keep doing this as long as I'm supposed to be doing this. It's a week by week thing, but so far I couldn't be more thrilled. All right, So that's the end of the YouTube recording for Sunday, September 3rd. God bless, and may the force be with you. Bye.